Hey everyone. So today I wanted to do just a quick video on using diagnostic code scanner. It's, I would say, an invaluable tool to work on cars these days. It can provide you with a boatload of information on what's going on with your car when you're having some problems. So yeah, we're going to do just a quick video to kind of introduce how to work with one and show you what kind of information you can get with it. So first, I guess, just to give a little bit of a history lesson, diagnostics started in, I believe it was 1985 or 86, that the manufacturers came out with what was called the OBD1 system. Now, OBD stands for onboard diagnostics. Now, OBD1 system was a basic system. It did provide a lot of good diagnostic information, but it only had numeric fault codes, so it was really limited to how much information you could get from it. The good thing about it was that every car, pretty much every car that I know of, had a built-in way for you to get the codes from the computer. Whether it was you put a little jumper wire between a couple of terminals in the fuse block, or there was a special key sequence with the ignition key that you had to perform to get into the diagnostic system. Some on the engine management computer had a button that you would press to access it. And basically what it would do is it would use the check engine light to flash out the code. You just count the flashes, and that's how you got the code. OBD2 came out in, I believe, 96 or something like that. Now, OBD2 is a much more robust system. It gives you a whole wealth of information that's really, really invaluable in diagnosing problems in today's cars. The problem with that is, it's a much more complex system, so it uses alphanumeric codes. So you can't get the codes straight from the car anymore. So now you need code reader computer to extract the codes from the computer. They're not expensive pieces of equipment. You can pick one up, basic one, for probably about $30. But it's going to be very limited to the functionality that it provides. It will extract the fault codes from the engine's computer, but that's about it. So you really got to kind of look at what it is that you're planning on doing and what you're going to be using it for. When you move up into the more expensive models, they will do like live data, where you can actually run the engine and you'll get a readout of all sorts of sensors, temperatures, pressures, voltages, that can really, really help in diagnosing some of the more complex problems. But I think for a home mechanic, the most important thing is that today's cars, most of them have electric parking brakes. You just press a button on the dashboard or on the center panel console, on the center console, and the parking brake sets itself. The way it does that is that the rear calipers have little motors built into them, and the motors spin up and push up against the brake pads to set the parking brake. So when you go to change the worn out the worn out brake pads, you need to retract the piston in the caliper to fit the new thicker brake pads in. Well, you can't retract that piston without first retracting those parking brake motors. And you can't retract those parking brake motors without a code reader computer that has the capability to perform that function, that maintenance function. The one I have, let me take it out of the case here really quick. Give me just a second. This is the one I use most of the time. It's not a top of the line type of computer. Actually, it's from Harbor Freight. It cost about, I believe it was $280. So it is a little bit on the pricey side, but it's definitely not out of reach of any do-it-yourself at home mechanic. And it will give you all the information you could ever possibly need to diagnose all kinds of problems on the car. And it does have maintenance functions. I think this is a very good unit for the price. They go well up into the thousands of dollars, which is definitely overkill for somebody that's just working on their car at home. So I'm going to set this up, and we'll just go through real quick and see how this computer works. So the first thing you need to do is locate the diagnostic port, and that will always be on the driver's side underneath the steering wheel and underneath the dashboard. On this car, it's right here. That's what you're looking for. This little black connector with kind of the sloping sides. And that is your diagnostic port. And that is what you're going to connect the computer to. So we're just going to take the cable. And we're going to take this end of the cable, which matches that diagnostic port, and just connect it straight to that. Okay, now we're going to take our computer and we're going to connect the serial port on the other end to the computer. Very simple. Just like that. And it uses the power from the car, so it doesn't have any batteries. And once you have it connected, you just turn on the ignition. You don't want to start the car, just turn it on. And it will link to the computer by itself. Okay, and now you can see that it found a fault code in the computer. We have actually two. We have cylinder 4 misfire detected. And if you push the button down, we have a second code for cylinder 4 misfire detected. So now what you do is you take that fault code, that P0304, and you go to your computer, you pull up Google, you put in that fault code, and it will bring up all sorts of resources on what the possible causes are and the steps that you need to do to diagnose the problem and really, narrow down what the problem could be. The second part of this whole thing is using Google. It'll do all kinds of information. Like if we go to menu, you can do a system actuator test, service reset. That's what I was talking about. You can do battery reset, steering angle calibration, EFB reset. That's your electronic parking brake reset, and that is what you would use to back off those parking brake motors so you can change the brake pads. So let's go back. And let's see, you can do OBD mode test, alternator monitor, drive cycle procedures, tool settings, all kinds of stuff. And here in the system main menu, these are the different modules that you can check for fault codes. You can check global OBD2, which will check all of the modules in the car for fault codes. Or you can just select the modules. You can do the ABS, SRS, tire pressure, or you could do all module scan. So yeah, and this is, like I said, this is an invaluable tool on diagnosing problems with your car. And yeah, like I said, I mean, there's all kinds of these available on the market, but like I said, you get what you pay for, you know. So if you opt to get like a $30 version or something like that, don't expect it to do a whole lot. But I wouldn't recommend spending more than $300 on one. After that, you're just kind of, I guess, stroking your own ego, saying, you know, I have this computer and most of the functionality you will never use. So that's really about it. I mean, it is a very simple tool to use. It's all menu driven. And we will finish this video up here real quick. Oh, so let's just do this. So to disconnect, all you need to do is disconnect the cable from the diagnostics port, and then press the power button here, and the unit is powering off. And that's it. All right, so one more thing that I forgot to mention. The other functionality that you want to make sure that the computer has is it has an ability to clear the codes from the car's computer. That is very important, because if you go in there and you have 6 different codes stored in the computer and you have no idea which one really is the one that's causing the problems. So you want to be able to clear the codes out and then run the engine again and wait for it to set a new code, and then whatever code is in there at that point is the current code related to whatever issues you're having. So yeah, I think that's about it. Like I said, short video, very simple tool to use, extremely important in having, I believe, in having one to diagnose your own problems. I mean, you can take it down to your local auto parts store and they will use their scanner to pull the code from your car. But, if your car isn't running, you can't really get it to the auto parts store for them to do that. So definitely helps to have one of your own. So with that, I think we're going to sign this off. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. If you did, please subscribe to our channel. Like I keep saying, we're going to have a bunch more videos coming, all the way up to things, relating to automotive restoration, custom fabrication. If you saw my last video, then we finally got our nonprofit 501c3 designation from the IRS. So we are finally able to start fundraising, and hopefully we'll have a real shop to work out of pretty soon. So thank you everybody for supporting us. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later.